Kind of customer service is this?
This is the number 2, right?
Yes.
I meant to say number 3. I don't want this. And yeah, can you change that to a number 3? Matter of fact, a number 7.
Number 7. That's the fuck.
Oh, number 3. You pick one.
What you mean I pick one? You just ordered the fucking food.
Excuse me?
Bro, you heard what I said, bro. You got to close, bro. I got time for your shit, bro.
What kind of customer service is this?
What you want? Yes or no? Is this what you want? This what you paid for? This what you about to get?
I want a number. No, I
What you
want. I
want
want
to
a.
get. This is what you paid for, so this is what you're gonna get. Here, I got your banner right there. Here.
And I don't want Fanta. I want fruit punch, please.
You want fruit punch? All fucking well, you finna get what the fuck I made and what the fuck you paid for.
Oh my god, what kind of customer service is this?
What kind of customer are you?
Oh, I just want. Well, no, I want to just give my money back.
Your money back, lady. Fuck your money. Here, get this. Here you go. You have a nice day.
Oh.
I promise you, you gonna get enough of treating these people at these restaurants crazy. I promise you. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Just type ones if you can hear me, and then we'll go on with the show. I really don't want to be here long tonight, but there's a couple of things I wanted to cover. But type some ones. Let me make sure you guys can hear me not loud and clear. You might want to share this. This is going to be very interesting because I will be covering that child preacher, the one that's been floating around. We'll be covering that tonight. But I want to make sure you guys can hear me loud and clear. Make sure. So type some ones before I go on with the show. Hey, T Mac, thank you so much. So we're going with the show. So that was crazy. What happened with that whole thing? I thought it was very funny. He was like, "Hey, this is what you ordered. This is what you gonna get." And it's kind of crazy how we sometimes treat these people who work in fast food or whatever restaurant. And the reason why this resonated so much with me is because a few years ago I went to the movies with one of my best friends, and she was just giving this guy. We went to Steak and Shake. I never forget this. We were pretty much the only ones in the whole restaurant. It was like a Sunday afternoon or Sunday going into Sunday evening. And we were ordering our food, and she was giving them a hard time, like, oh, this ain't warm enough, or oh, I really don't want this. Hey, Terrell, what's up, man? And she was like, I really don't want this. Oh, I don't want that. Oh, it ain't warm enough. And he was just getting frustrated. Now, me, I was just like, man, thank you, man. Hey, it's cool. My food, it could have been better. It wasn't as hot. You want fresh food to be hot, but it was good enough. It was warm enough for me to eat it. It didn't last long either. But she kept giving a hard time. So Steak and Shake. So you don't go to Steak and Shake without getting a shake. You know what I'm saying? So I went and ordered a shake. I ordered a chocolate vanilla, which is if I'm going to get a shake, that's usually what I order. And she didn't want a shake. She ordered a Sprite or some junk like that. And when her meal came out with her drink, and then she gave him a hard time, and my shake came out, and I was actually enjoying my shake. It was actually pretty good. And then she wanted to taste it, so I was like, okay, taste it. And so when he came back, she said, I don't want this. I want this Sprite. I want a shake. I want one just like he got. And the look that this guy gave her was like he had enough with her. He gave her a look that it was just crazy. And I knew when he gave her that look to me at a restaurant, that's like a huge red flag right there. When you go to a restaurant and they give you that look, that usually means something bad is going to happen. I've seen the tapes, I've seen the videos, they've done shows on it. It's usually pretty bad. So we were talking, having a good time, getting ready to go to see one of our mini horror movies. And I noticed that the guy was gone for a while. It's like, dude, you've been gone like 20 minutes. And it couldn't have been because they were busy. Like I said, we were pretty much the only people in there. There was maybe one or two other couples in there. And, I was like, why did you take so long? So finally, after like 20 minutes, he came back with her shake, and he said these words that I will never forget. And if trust me, this is no cap. My best friend, if she was in the comment section right now, she would say this really happened. He looked her dead in the face and he said, I made the shake extra thick for you. Now, man, that man was gone for 20 minutes. I told her, she grabbed the shake, and I said, I'm not going to say her name, but I said, you might not want to drink that shake. And then she said, well, why not? He brought it. I was like, he was gone for 20 minutes. What do you think he was doing in those 20 minutes that made you think that you can drink that shake? 20 minutes? It don't take 20 minutes. What did he do? Milk a cow and make it extra fresh for you? So she looked at me, and then she looked at her shake, and needless to say, she didn't drink that shake. And so when I saw this video, I was like, man, we just got to be we got to be careful how we treat these people. These people are serving our food. And so ever since then, I promise you on everything, I have never sent. She didn't drink it, Terrell. She did not drink it. But I have never, when I go to a restaurant, whatever they bring me out, whether it's too warm or whatever, if I'm friends with them and I'm a regular, and they've, I've been there a few times and they kind of know me. Like I had an incident today with a Mexican restaurant that I visit a lot. And, they were very kind to me and everything else. It was no issue. But a restaurant you've never been to before and you go giving them a hard time, nah, you really don't want to do that. I never send it back. I don't care what it's like. I just, with the tip, it may jingle. I might not give you a real tip. Like sometimes I went to a restaurant. I took Miss Lynn out to a restaurant for her birthday. And what happened was she was shocked. And I gave that man, I think it was $100 tip, at a regular restaurant. I gave him, and I did it again at a Texas Roadhouse. So I tip. I'm not one of those people give you $3 or whatever little change. No, when I tip you, you're getting a tip. And I've never tipped anything less than $10, in my life, but most of the time now, if you've given me really good service, I will give you a really good tip. Like I said, $100. $100 is a lot for a tip. You know, how many of you have given tips $100? Like I went, I think you should be that way with these people. You know, they're serving your food. They can bring you something nasty. And you know what that happens? That sows that seed. So when I go in there again, I most likely will get great service, especially if that person is there again. They're going to say, oh, he tips very well. And they're going to take care of me. They're going to overlook all these other tables. Are you sure you're okay? You okay? Is that too hot for you? Is that because I sowed that seed? I gave a good tip. That's a good nugget you can use. That's a good nugget you can use. Yeah, there's Ms. Lynn. Yeah, she remembers. That tip was nice. And the lady looked at me, and Ms. Lynn was like, what did you give her? And I told her. She was like, what? But yeah, that's I think you should treat these people a little. You could do better. We could do better. But anyway, let's open this show a little bit fun.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Now, we're coming up on an election year. So you're going to see a lot of doofuses from me with certain people. Again, for the millionth time, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican, thank God. I consider myself an independent. I vote policy. But this is not the year for that. Most of the time you would vote policy. This is a year for character. And I don't care how anybody slices it for you. If you are my leader or somebody, I have to respect character matters. But that's for a later live. But these Trump supporters, they never cease to amaze. Check this out. So, well, no, this is not a Trump supporter. This is a Trump supporter right here. Can't wait for you to get now. It's been a running joke. MAGA really means make attorneys get attorneys. And if you've been following the news, and maybe you haven't, but mostly all of Donald Trump's attorneys have been in trouble. Some of them have been disbarred. They lost their law practicing license. The thing that they work. I don't know if some of you ever been to law school, but my friends who are lawyers, like downtown in Gary, a few lawyers, whatever, there are some friends I've run into that are lawyers or whatever. They tell you, you go through a lot to become a lawyer. Imagine going through all of that work in your life to get to this point. And one squarehead, spray tan, tang-faced dude, because you decided to take him on as a client and do his bidding, now you lost your license and face jail. You can't make this up. So make attorneys get attorneys is the going slogan. But as you can see, somebody said, I can't wait for you to get sued. And it's not what MAGA stands for. It should be a period here. It should have an apostrophe. Make America great. Do y'all see how she spelled, or he spelled great again? And then it's supposed to be another period. Alina Habba is supposed to be, that's a proper noun. So that's her name. But anyway, it's going to take everything from you. Copyright violation. Now, I get so frustrated with some of you saying, my stuff copywritten. No, it's not copywritten. It's copyrighted. That's a totally different thing, sir, ma'am. And to see these people, and trust me, when I was really, really yanking and banging in my political days back in 2016, when I was really, really going in, because I couldn't believe we elected this nutcase. But back then, the Trump supporters used to be at me all the time. I mean, I got a block list full of them, but they were all stupid. No offense, no offense, no offense. And that's not because you support Trump. I mean, I question your IQ there, but nevertheless, the stuff like this that you see makes you do this. We're going to go through this all year because it's amazing to me. But back to my political stance. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent, but I'm also smart enough to understand where this thing is going. And I'm not going to let my prejudices, I'm not going to let me being a bigot make me elect somebody who will probably never leave office. Who will never leave office. Trust me when I say that. See, everything that we said not going to happen is happening. This is a crazy year. But anyway, I saw this post and I thought that this was very disturbing. It says, black men, if you don't like black women, write everything you don't like about them on a piece of paper and give it to my mom. If I was to give everything I don't like, which I don't think it's a black woman thing. And I want you guys to really understand something. Just because somebody says something that they believe you could do better, you could present to be better, doesn't mean we don't like you in a total sense. That doesn't mean we don't like you holistically. It means certain things, like, for example, I love the Bulls. Chicago Bulls is my favorite team. I'm born and raised Bulls fan. But as you can see right now, they're struggling with the Washington Wizards, who's arguably the worst team in the league. They don't even have 10 wins, and here we are struggling against them. But because I want the Bulls to do better, doesn't mean I hate the Bulls. I just want the Bulls to do something and present a team that we can get behind and cheer for. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And here's the thing that destroys this argument. Maybe my mom presents things in me that I don't like in women. There are some men that, now I don't have that testimony, but there are some men that may have that testimony. Maybe their mom exhibited everything that they disdain in the woman. So if they gave her the sheet, maybe the things that they don't like in women, she displayed. So this was a stupid post. And I've just been seeing so many stupid posts. And I know we don't like the black man versus black woman dynamic, and neither do I. But it's funny when posts like this are shared, there's no pushback. But if I post something, there's always pushback. I just can't understand this thing for the life of me. Why is it that when a man displays or he demonstrates something that he does not like, it's deemed to be hatred? But you can spew stupid stuff like this and nothing ever happens. I'm planning to tick some of you off tonight. I'm just saying. Some of you gonna be mad by the end of the night, but you know what? Go get you some drinks. Go get you a vape. Go get some weed. Even though, I don't encourage it, but some of you might do a couple of hits because you're gonna get over it. You're gonna get over it. But speaking of doofuses, check this out. This is why I don't argue with y'all. This man says buying a $40 bottle of liquor in the club for $300 doesn't seem like some baller to me. Just fiscally irresponsible, laughing my tail off. And then this lady says, Little Red says, did you mean to spell physically wrong or?
God, you can't make this shit up.
You just cannot. She doesn't understand the word fiscally and physically. And how could you put that in the wrong? And I actually said that I wasn't going to argue or debate with people that's just not mentally up to that level, because no matter, when you argue with somebody that's not mentally, intellectually able to argue or debate on that level, you both look stupid. You both look stupid. And I'm glad he didn't respond, because I wouldn't have responded either. And I'm going to say this. No, I'm going to wait till later. Let's keep going. The reason why I said that is because we're going to get to some things later on when I start talking about rejection. Now, my lines will be open. If you don't like what I'm saying, ladies, gentlemen, simps, pimps, then you're able to join me. I will post the link. Just say, D, I need to jump on, and I'll let you on. And I don't know why my Preachers Gone Wild background ain't up. Hold on. There we go. There it is. So let's keep this thing going. And I said I wasn't going to be before you long. See, things getting better. Some things that I see amaze me. And I've always joked and stuff about what happens over here in the States. We got a lot to joke about. But I am going to do a live one day where Preachers Gone Wild, where every Preachers Gone Wild video will be from the motherland. Because like I've said numerous times, they wild out in the motherland. Check this out.
Yes, yes.
Somebody. He died since Friday. He was in a mortuary. This is the brother. And this is the landlord. And you, who are you? Family members.
It's the mother of the wife.
Come here. This is the wife.
Yes, this is the wife.
Come here. This is the wife. Okay. Romosete.
Jesus.
Jesus. Celebrate Jesus.
We glorify
Celebrate Jesus.
Jesus.
What is his name?
Jesus.
Elliot. Hello, Elliot. Elliot.
Jesus.
Lift your hands.
Wait, stop. Did y'all see his mouth moving? You cannot make this up. Please tell me you didn't see his mouth move. His jaws got tired. Some people like their jaws tired, but pause, but probably not really for some of you. But did you see his jaws?
My good God.
His mouth is moving, bro.
Man is commanding life.
Rise up!
Rising up! Hey! Jesus! Glory to Jesus! Glory to Jesus! Jesus is Lord.
Blessings.
Old girl looking at his food like, hey, I might need to dive in myself. Could you please share some of that, my boy, since you faking out here?
Jesus is Lord.
Blessings. Favor.
And the bad part about it is, over in the motherland, they are packing out stadiums. They pack them out for people like him. Like I said, I'm gonna do a live with just people like him. And oh my God, some of that stuff I was seeing, it was great to stumble upon that page. I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is like a freaking gold mine over here. It was a gold mine to go to that page and see that. So when I saw his mouth open, pause, but when I saw his mouth open, I was like, dude, there is no way. You have to be by far the dumbest people to not see that this was all fake. I'm sitting up here looking at this thing like, really? Really? But you know what? We laugh at that, but we're not too far from that over here. We're not too far from that. Some of the far-fetched things that you've heard said over the mic, and you said things that they said was going to happen and everything else, and it be wild, and then they have you do stuff. Next thing you know, they're going to have you running around the church barking like a dog, saying this is the way you're going to get your deliverance. We're not too far from that. We're not too far. We got people hawking up spit, rubbing it on people's faces. We got people coming down on parachutes and everything else. We're not too far. We're not too far. Mark my words, that will make it here one day. But I truly dislike stuff like this because folks really be needing Jesus. They really do. They really do. And I think you take advantage of people's desperation. You know, people want to experience that biblical miracles, the stuff that they read about in the Bibles. They want to experience that. They want to see people who are lame get up and walk. They want to see people who have their arms or legs decapitated or amputated. They want to see those things grow back, do miraculous things. They want to see that. They're desperate. Some people are really in desperate need of miracles. But you sell them these dreams, and then what happens is soon after that, they're going to be asking for money, which is really what it's all about. It's not about your deliverance. It's not about you even whatever. Those people like that. I ain't talking about every prophet. I'm not. I'm saying people like that, you better watch it, because soon after that miracle, they're going to be asking for money. Tell me I'm wrong. You cannot. But anyway, what would you do if you were at your church and you saw this happen?
Yes, Lord, have your way, have your way, have your way, have your way. Hallelujah.
Look, I know that didn't happen for real, but that capture had me weak, for real. You get a text from your side chick telling she pregnant, she gonna tell your wife, you like, like his whole life flashed before his eyes when he saw that, because he know it's over at that point. When your wife finding out you got a side chick out here pregnant, you like, I would have been swallowed. I should have never been swallowed up. Or I should have let you swallow. Oh, wait, don't go there, D. Wait, hold on. Don't go there on the show. Don't go there on the show. But in those instances, sir, you should have been swallowed up. Woo! You should have been swallowed, because it's because you wasn't swallowing. Dude said he turned into Chewbacca. His tongues got real crazy. But you know the bad part about it is, even in that instance, some of these dudes, they are master manipulators. Master manipulators. And no matter what they do, we're seeing it today with some people. No matter what they do, they seem to always land on their feet. They seem to always land on their feet. When they do something wrong, and they could just get up in front of the mic, I have sinned. And everybody gets with them. It's okay, Pastor. It's okay. And then next thing you know, they got somebody else knocked up because they're not swallowing. You can't make this up. But then that's real. And we can talk about that a little bit if we wanted to. How some people could just get away with everything. And I feel like that's kind of unfair, because sometimes we give these mega preachers a little bit more latitude than we do the locals. The local everyday preacher that's just out here just trying to do the work, we light him up. But let Reverend Gooden stuff get caught up in a scandal that's like super crazy, like a Diddy-like scandal. Maybe Swallowed Up does fit in that. Then they start to circle the wagons and they defend that. That's always been weird to me. For real. It's always been weird to me how we'll do that to the lower ones, to the ones we don't consider to be, have as much pull and influence. Those people we just throw away. But the major ones, they can pretty much do anything. I mean, they can walk in the church with their junk just hanging out, just swinging everywhere. What y'all knew about it? It's almost like that. I mean, it's getting to that point. I think when Ty was speaking about the stuff that happens in church, had he really just delved into it and not made it so generalized, I think it would have came across better. Because those of you who follow the show, numerous times I've mentioned stuff that I didn't necessarily agree with that happens. It doesn't mean I don't love church. It doesn't mean I don't want to walk away from it. But it is some issues that exist. And I think, certain things you just express. I would never get on my live and say church is whack or whatever. That would never be my testimony, because I'm the kind of person, I want to explain to you in detail the things that I don't like. So me, you, hopefully some preachers, we can come together and try to address these things and make it better for people, so people don't look at us with such a big side eye, like y'all all like this, because it seems to be a big paintbrush here. I'm not going to preach today. Well, probably not really. Now, it's something that happened. This was so disturbing to me. It was disturbing. I'm gonna play the video and we're gonna talk about it on the other side. Here we go.
Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. All over this building. All over this building. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. All over this building. Lift your hands. I need us all on one accord right now. All on one accord. All on accord. Everybody lift your hands. Baby, can you do me a favor? Lift your hands or get out.
And that's why you my dude, Danny. Because you say how say it. You one of those no fear having brothers. I don't mind that. I actually really respect that. Really respect that.
Could you choose one? Lift your hands or get out. Could you lift your hands or get out? Choose one. Choose one. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. I'm not scared of nobody. I mean what I mean. I'm here to protect you. Everybody lift your hands. Baby, could you do me a favor? Lift your hands or get out. Could you choose one? Lift your hands or get out. Could you lift your hands or get out? Choose one. Choose one. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. I'm not scared of nobody. I mean what I mean.
When I tell you this really me off, this really me off. I did not like this at all. When I saw this, I literally was like,
Nigga, what?
I couldn't believe what I heard. Like, dude, so many people from different walks of life walk in these churches. Bishop said something today, and it was like true. He's like, everybody walk in the church. A lot of these people not saved, especially around the holidays. You're going to get a lot of people that walk in the church that we wouldn't consider quote unquote saved. I would say believers. They don't necessarily believe. They're not necessarily followers, you know? And so you never know what's going on in people's mind. And you never know what, this may all be new to them. Raising your hands like that is a form of surrender. Me, I don't know if y'all picked it up by now, but I'm not that kind of man that surrenders to anything I don't revere. See, that was a word right there. I don't surrender to things that I don't revere. And if I'm going to offer myself up as surrendering posture, I need to be able to understand the reverence that you are deserving of. And if I don't know what I'm raising my hand to surrender to, I'm not going to raise my hand. And here's the thing, to give them that ultimatum, raise your hands or get out. Sir, what were you hoping to happen? You said, I'm trying to protect you. Protect you from what? No death angels coming up in there. What are you protecting them from? What is going on? Where you would tell somebody, raise your hands or get out. Do you know what that is? To me, that's ego. That's ego. The older saints would say that's flesh. Your flesh got involved. Because if you were really, really in the spirit, people who raise their hands and they want to be in that posture, that's fine. But your job as far as praise and worship and whatever, is not to be a bully with that mic. I promise you, I did a live on this when I first started doing lives. And the first thing I talked about is the power of this microphone. Because people who have this microphone believe they can say and do whatever they want to do in the church, and people will back them. Nobody came to the defense of this person, be like, yo, I'm on the praise team. I'm tapping them. Chill out, bro. You got it. Just go on. What were we hoping to do here? Is this where we at? And yes, it happens. I did a live 3 weeks ago where this dude started going off on everybody, and Pastor Lazarus had to get up and tell them we don't preach that here. That's not what we do. Yeah, it happens. I don't know why people feel like they can do that. No, if they don't want to get up and clap, they don't want to get up and clap. Honestly, this is going to sound crazy, but a lot of musicians, we like that. We play so much and everything. Sometimes we come to church and we just sitting there. And people like, get in the service. But we like, what's happening here? So a lot of times you think we don't have spirit, and that's not necessarily true. People exhibit their things differently. I'm a crier. So when the spirit hits me, I'm a cry. My tears run and everything else. You know, I don't be like, oh God, but I will tear up. I don't know why. That's just how I react. But I've never really been the kind of person to be jumping up and running and stuff like that. That's never been me. I'm more reserved. And most men, especially sophisticated men, they aren't. They're a little bit more reserved. That's why they don't tend to go to churches like that. They go to the churches where they learn and they, sing songs and they go home. But musicians, we get it all the time. People think we're Cenobites because we don't come in and do what everybody else do. And here's the crazy thing, and this is gonna sound crazy, but if you've been playing as long as we have, maybe some of us don't know how to do that. We know how to praise God with our instruments. We don't know how to do all that stuff that y'all do. Some of us don't even know how to shout and dance. Some of us don't know how to do that. We've never done it. We all played from the time we had a bottle in our mouth till we're grown men. So you asking us to do something that we don't do. We have a different form of praise that's unique from most people in the church. Our form of praise is through some people dance, some people shout, some people sing, some people play instruments. That's what we do. I'm not saying that's right. I'm giving you an explanation. So before you jump down on musicians and because they don't do what you do, you got to understand that's just not how a lot of us do it. We haven't been taught to do that. We've been taught to praise in our instruments. You've been taught to shout. You've been taught to dance. You've been taught to sing. We've been taught to play. It's just that simple. So why don't somebody teach us? This is how you do this. This is how you do that. Now, we all know how to raise our hands, but one thing I know about musicians, we sense real and we sense fake really good. Y'all think we don't. Musicians sense good. We sense real and we can sense fake. We know when it's real authentic and when we know when it's fake. A lot of musicians, you may see us, we'll stop playing because I will. If it's there, I'll stop playing and I have my head down. I'll just be like this. But we know when it's real and when it's fake. And instead of us addressing the fake, you want us to masquerade like the fake is real. But musicians in church, a lot of us, we're not masquerading. We're not puppeteers. We see it, and we ain't gonna go where it ain't there. We're not. So if you're gonna address us, you gotta address the fake too. God bless you in your ministry. Let's move on. Something really, really crazy happened. And last week I did a live about stems. And we talked about it. It was pretty interesting, pretty good conversation. And when you just know in another instance popped up and it made it this show, which is I wish I would have had it last week, but it obviously didn't happen or it didn't circulate last week, but it made it to my desk today. But it's I want you guys to look at it. You tell me what you think while you watching it. Let's go.
Guitar drop out for a second. About to make you a millionaire.
Wait, stop. When they say millionaire, I'm already turned off. Just so you know, if you ever prophesy millionaires to me and I'm there, I already know my red flags and my alarms is going off. I've told you so many times why. But anyway, let's go. I'm backing it up.
About to make you a millionaire.
when this video came out, a lot of people had their things to say about it. And I read some of the comments, and some of the comments I was like, okay. And I mean no harm. I mean no harm at all to anybody. And I want you to think long and hard before you decide to leave a post about what I'm going to say. Think long and hard about it, because you know I'm always fair. I'm always fair. I always see multiple sides of everything. But if you want to say, you want to have a discussion, whoever this may be, please inbox me. You can call me. You can say, hey, I need your number. We can talk. I want you to refrain from saying anything slick about what I'm about to say on your post, because I'm going to see it. And yeah, I'm going to respond, because I don't mean to go at anybody in a negative way. But when you are playing stems, let me help you. Auxiliary instruments, in my professional opinion, should bring things that don't exist in that band. So if I got an organist, I'm not going to bring stems that have organ. If I have a piano player, my stems with piano is not needed because there's a piano there. If I have auxiliary, there's some things that he may play that I don't need to have in my stems. If I have a guitar player, a bass, a drummer, I don't need those instruments in my stems. So those things go on mute. And then what I'm bringing in makes everything harmonious. There are some musicians up in here, and I understand some people got their own thing. If you with your pastor or the pastor's hired you and this is what they desire, that's fine. Then this doesn't apply to you. But some of you, not all of you just bring it whatever, and you just like, you gonna do it, you just gonna deal with it. That is kind of disrespectful. Assuming you as MD did the MD job and hired musicians that can play this stuff. Because if you are MD at a church and you've been there sometime and you still got to use stems and all these instruments everywhere, then you failed as an MD to train the people that are under you to understand the sound of the house. So you don't need to do the stems. They're playing everything for you. Because part of a job as an MD is to train, is to build. That's the part. So we all got laptops. All of us got laptops. I got a laptop here. Where was the pause at, Rashawn? I know Caleb. I mean, I've come to know him as far as a guitar player. People have been talking about him, and I've been seeing videos he's been representing, to the degree that I actually needed to reach out to him for something, for something that I may need him for. So Caleb is a good guitar player, and he can play anything you throw at him, which is why his face was like, for real? That's what his face. Like, you told me to lay out for this? I get it. If you are at a church and you, say for instance, you with your pastor, and he went to a church you ain't never been to before, and they got a guitar player that you don't know, that don't know y'all stuff, that's one thing. You in a one-time situation where you came in off the street, you got your stems, you going at it. This doesn't apply to that. But if you've been in a situation for a period of time, and you got these people who've been in there that long, and you feel like you got to do all of that, then something is wrong. Because you take away from the creativity that we could have together and build something that your stems can't duplicate. Because your stems are locked into this thing. But with a great musician staff, it could just blow that all. And just the reason why y'all love Powerhouse so much, some of you who watch us, because we don't practice that stuff. Everything that we do, from the point that song gets to a certain point, that's all vibe. We're not locked into a certain pattern when we do our shouts. We ain't locked in. We can go anywhere at any time, and it ain't locked into a pattern, and it's not locked in with anything like that. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying sometimes we tend to overdo things, which brings me to my point. Let me turn off this background, which is probably why it was off. Let me share this with you. As a producer myself that has been in this game for so long, I don't think a lot of us understand the concept of what I said earlier about having all these instruments when you have the other instruments there. When you send that stuff to a mix engineer and you got all this stuff going on, and then you say, make it big as possible. How can they do that, sir, ma'am, when you have all these instruments fighting for the same frequencies? That's 600 hertz to like 1000 kilohertz. You got ox there, you got lines there, you got guitar there, you got the organ just pretty much dominate everything. If you wanted to, you could mix an organ to just fill up every harmonics piece of any arrangement. Because the organ can go as low as the bass as far as the rumble, and it can go as high. It's the most harmonically rich instrument in a gospel band. So an organist, the good trained organist knows this, and he's going to make his setting where he can fit in. A lot of you say, I don't hear the organ. It's because you set your organ to compete with every other instrument and vocal that may sit in that same frequency. So the mix engineer is like, okay, something's got to take precedence. Guess what's number one? Vocals, which is why when I'm hearing some of these mixes and people let me say, hey, D, put your ear on this, I'm hearing the vocals buried behind a whole wall of sound. A whole wall of sound. Because you feel you need to put every instrument under the sun in this arrangement. When you don't. If you got guitar, bass, drums, organ, keyboard, aux, and horns, what else do you need? Maybe some strings, maybe some accents and stuff like that. I get it. But y'all be coming in with 14,000 keyboard auxiliary. Like, where is this stuff gonna fit? Please tell me, sir. On top of vocals, then you come, especially if you're doing choir music. That's why a lot of these, and I kind of give a little latitude to indie artists. You don't have the finances, you can't send it off to Yash or Blast or any of these other great mix engineers. We got great local ones here. You got Curtis, you got Nick, you got other engineers here in Chicago. Thank God Chicago is a gold mine for these great engineers, but they ain't cheap either. But even they become frustrated when you come sending them stuff with all this instrumentation. Producers need to look at and you know why this is? Because when you thought of these songs, you said my arrangement, and you thought of the arrangement. The arrangements be dope. No hate, the arrangements be dope. But then you don't think about every piece that goes into that arrangement. Like, for example, if I did a song, this is going to have this instrument, or I hear this instrument. We are painting the picture. That picture is painted before you get to post. That picture is painted before you press record. You know what's going to be here. You know this song. And maybe in post, you'd be like, let me add this. But you never send a production to a mix engineer with so many tracks that he loses his mind, because it's not, the more instruments you add to it, the less big it can be. The biggest mixes you ever hear in them R&B is because they don't have a lot going on in them. They ain't got that many instruments. And so the bass got enough room to just fill up the low end. And then everything else it's like everything's carved and perfect in place. But now, because we want to be STEMmy, we got all this stuff. Just do better. Just do better. And I mean, and listen, and trust me, I enjoy it. And let me say this. Don't ever let it be said, I want the best for every last one of you. I've heard some of you are the most amazing, you should be. You are the most amazing musicians I've ever seen, and some of you I've even worked with. I will never denigrate your skill. But you don't ever want it to be said that you are not skilled enough to play your instrument, which is the reason why you become STEMmy. Because that's an insult to you. You don't want that. Don't let that overshadow the ability that you have naturally. If you are a natural piano player or organ player or bass player or whatever, don't let your production expose you, because we hear everything that you've done. And some of the worst thing that can happen if somebody walk up to you and say, hey, do that line you did right there, and you cannot do it. You cannot do it. And trust me, there are people out here who can tell if you sped up that line. That's something I would do. I'm not a keyboard player. I'm gonna slow that thing down to dun, 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 and I'm gonna go dun, 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 dun. And then when you hear it, dun, 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 oh, D, you cold. Do that what you did on that album. Huh? You can't do that. Then how did you do it there? Huh? Don't be STEMmy. That's King of the Wild's statement. Don't be STEMmy. Be musicians, be great musicians, and be good producers. Always think about the end product before you start hitting record on that other stuff. Is this really needed? Listen to the song. Even if you're not there where you can't think that far ahead, listen to what you have now and say, is all this instrumentation really needed? When this thing is mixed and it's nice, what is needed? What frequencies is this lacking that can make this thing gel? Do I need horns here? Do I need synth here? I may need horns here and not synth. I may need synth and maybe not get live horn. It may not fit. Does this require strings? What kind of strings? Bright strings, low strings, mellow strings, what? Whole orchestra, what does it need? You don't just send all these files to these mix engineers. Don't do that. I'll jump on Keybase before I take a stem. Don't be STEMmy. Just don't be STEMmy, y'all. I love y'all. And I hope I was fair. I'm not trying to be that person. I want the best for us. And I don't want church musicians and gospel musicians. I don't want us to be like that. When you got a full band, trust me, that's like, for me, that's gold. I'm gonna tell you what to do. Follow me, lead guitar player. And that's one thing I can say. Bird, Caleb, who else I play guitar with? Tony, Percy, Rob Guringer. These guitar players, no matter what you throw at them, they can play. What's crazy about Bird and all these other, even the others, Jabari, all these other guitar players, they can hear what Razor or one of these keyboard players do, and they'll do exactly that. And then I turn around and do a line, and they're doing both. They can hear me and that. So there's no need. If I'm MDing, there's no need for me to even let them do it. You know, if I'm the one that's saying, hey, we going here, I don't need to worry. I don't need to babysit them. They know how to find where they need to be. And these are the people that I like to circle myself around because I know they can get the job done. So I just want that. I don't want that to be done. You know, if you got a lead guitar player, kind of let him do it. And don't tell him to lay out. And to be fair, some people said he could have played something different on top. I agree. You could play something different on top. But it's fair also to say he's a guitar player. You didn't need guitar stems. I want to see how it is if you was to put piano stems and I'll be like, you lay out, let this thing play. Then it'll be an uproar then. And I was trying to find that video where this dude did that to the bass player. Bass player sitting right there. He said lay out and he played a bass stem. We ain't doing that. Let's not do that. I'm still maybe showing my age. I'm old school. Everybody play everything. I get it. But come on, man. Nah. I just don't agree with that. But anyway, that wasn't the only thing that happened. Apparently, there was a young preacher that actually preached. I'm not sure if it was this past Sunday or a week or whenever this happened. And it became a story over the last couple of days. Everybody had their thing to say about it. Except for now, I haven't said anything. I saw it when it was first posted. But I said, no, I'm going to wait till tonight. So here we go.
Of this present time shall not be compared to the glory that shall be revealed to us later. You're gonna have to go down. That's too high for me. Go to B major. Right quick. Go to B major. Go to B major. B major, half step up. Yeah. All right. Father, I love you today, and I thank you right now. I give you all that you deserve. Father.
Okay, so now you see it. Tell me in the comment section, what do you think about what you just saw? What did you think? What do you think about what you just saw? Then I'm gonna give you a second. I'm actually gonna play it again, but tell me what you think. While you're doing that, I'm gonna play this again, and I'm gonna go through this thing. Let's go.
Of this present time shall not be compared to the glory that shall be revealed to us later. You're gonna have to go down. That's too high for me. Go to B major. Right quick. Go to B major. Go to B major.
So when he said go to B major, I think you just go to B major. He shouldn't have to say it twice. He shouldn't have to say it twice. I didn't think he was too high. To be honest with you, that I don't have perfect pitch. My perfect pitch friends, tell me what key was he in right then and there. What key was he in right then? What key is that? What was that? Is that E flat he was in? E flat E? What was that? E flat. Okay, well, I guess I'm not too bad. I'm not too shabby. But yeah, so he was in E flat. Did that sound like that was too high for him? Did it sound like that was too high for him? It didn't seem like he was struggling there. I don't know him. So maybe he was going through some adolescent things. His voice was changing, whatever. But I didn't think it was too high. So when he said go to B, you go to B. Now, my perfect pitch ain't the greatest, but that wasn't B. That sound like B flat. Praise the Lord. Right, that's B flat, right?
B major half.
That's B flat, right? I'm thinking that's B flat. That's not B. That's when.
Yeah.
That's B. So I'm thinking
all
the
right.
person can play in B. So the pastor comes
Father,
up.
I love you today.
So the pastor then comes up and tells him, don't worry about that. Dang that. Preach. The pastor told him, don't worry about that. Preach. The pastor said, who was his grandfather? See, this was posted. Said, preach. Personally, now let me give you my thoughts. First things first. I think we really, church people, my brothers and sisters, we could be really, really rough on our young people. We could be so tough on them and everything. People got to walk in your ways and that thou statutes before you rip them to shreds. Not critically, not with anything constructive criticism, just ripping them to shreds. And that's what I was seeing. People just ripping this young man to shreds because they didn't like whatever. I don't know him. And I agree with somebody who posted they want to talk to him and have that conversation and see what his frame of mind is. That's fair. See, that's maturity, where you don't make a judgment about somebody personally without having a conversation. You don't. He was a young man, and from what I understand, was given his trial sermon. I think he's preached before. So I'm not sure. People were saying this was a trial sermon. I'm not sure if this was a trial sermon. I don't think this was, but I could be wrong. I don't know. But I think he's preached before. So it started up the conversation again about youth, young preachers that even go as young as this dude.
You get God some praise in the house of the Lord. Amen. Amen. I'm going to be talking about God's love, but first I got to get the scripture out. John chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the whole world He gave his only begotten Son, right? Whosoever believe in him shall not perish and they shall not die, but have everlasting life. Do y'all know that? I do. I'm going to be talking about God's love. God's love, he gave his only Son. And Jesus' love, it goes with God. God is a protector. And it said why Jesus loves us so much. Why he loves us so much, he been responsible to his Son.
What?
And what he did, he down on the we know he's a protector. Jesus is a savior. Do y'all know that? That's why I kept my Bible with me. Because God is too good. Now, do y'all know he loved us first? And do y'all know the devil's a liar? God been too good to us. I said God's been too good to us. Because why? Can y'all tell me why is Jesus so good? Because why God is so good, Jesus is so good. Every single day. This feels like when I got baptized, y'all. This feels like when I was up there, I was shaking. But the Lord is holding me. I thought I was going to drown in that water, but my God is too good. I can't even say nothing because he's too good. He's holding me right now. He's doing everything for us because Jesus is good. The devil's a liar and God's a truther. Why God loves us. I know that Jesus is a protector. He's a savior. Why God is love. He loved us first, we love him back. God is good. The devil's not good. Y'all gotta learn that. I've been saying scripture since I've been saying part to the scripture since I was 2 years old. I've been saying Jesus when I was 2 years old.
But you 5.
Every single time when I look at the cross, I say Jesus. We were driving somewhere, and then I saw this cross on top of the church, right? And I said, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Do y'all know that? He is too good at this house. He is too protectable. He is too essential. I don't know no one else. He is the true God. He's even grown-ups fathers. Y'all don't need a mother. All y'all just need is a father. And what's his name? God is too good in this house. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? Can I get into it? Y'all ready? God, why God loves us so much, He gave His only Son. God, why God loves us so much, He gave His Son. What's His name? Jesus. God is too good to me. God is a Savior. Do you know He's awake for me? I'm at the church to praise God. A question is someone who loves God. Yes, He's able. Yes, He's protectable. Yes, He's too good in the house. Oh, Jesus.
Follow him,
God is
Cameron.
too good to me. I know He's awake at the church. God is too good to me. Jesus. I said Jesus.
All right. I'm believing that this may have been a youth service or something like that, and they just allowed this dude to preach. There is nothing in me to make me believe that this is anything real. But he has been on TV. He's been on the Jennifer Hudson show. He's been around. Everybody saying he's the young preacher, and everybody like, yeah, train him up in the way that he should go. When he's older, he won't depart. He surely won't, because there are adult preachers that don't say nothing, and then when it's time to tune up, they start running down all the cliches. So you're absolutely right. He got it all down pat. Not saying nothing until you get to the hoop where the show starts. And this is not no knock on him. He's doing what he sees, what he's been trained to do. The same thing with the young man before. You got the hoopla. You got that down pat. You got the hooping. And let me teach y'all something. We have gone through this little shift in the world, actually, since COVID, where everybody's attention span has shrunken. The normal attention span of an adult is 12 minutes. 12 minutes. That's it. After 12 minutes, if you haven't said anything or done anything to grasp the normal adult's attention, if he's at home, he's going to turn. When he's at wherever, he's going to block you out, or she's going to block you out, or now everybody's on their phone, which is more important than actually listening to you. Because we don't have long attention spans to begin with. But once COVID happened, everybody's attention span has diminished. So you don't even get 12 minutes. So why is this important? When you are a speaker, one of the things that I've learned as a speaker is not to be monotone. Monotone. Do I have a robot? Do I have a robot over here? I think I do.
Talking like this. If I was to bring a word like this, how long you think you could listen? It's the same tone the whole time. It doesn't influx, it doesn't go up, it doesn't go down, it's staying monotone. It stays this way. Can you imagine hearing a whole message where this tone just stayed the whole time? Exactly.
But guess what? When you preach, your brain understands patterns. It understands patterns. So you may not have to be monotone. God, you've been so good to me, and I'm not gonna. You may not have to be monotone. But if you got this pattern where you're going, God, nah, and every time, nah, and nah, your brain starts to conceptualize that as a pattern. And what will end up happening now, nah, your brain will do that. And to your brain, it becomes counting sheep. So your brain won't, after a while, it's just like, okay, you'll block it out. Some people go to sleep. That's why speakers like your Todd Halls and your everybody else that can speak to you, like I'm talking now, I don't do all of that. And God, and if I was to ever preach, I would never do that. I would speak in a tone and I would speak in a manner that would demand your attention. And I would speak to you in a manner that have you ever seen those preachers that when they break monotone and they start speaking to you, now everybody like, yeah, I'm listening now. When they actually speak to you, that's when everybody's listening. But when they're in their preaching tone, it's monotone. So your brain will treat that as counting sheep. And one of three things are going to happen. Either they're going to block you out, or either going to turn the channel, and then they're going to get on their phone, or they're going to go to sleep. There's four things. And that's the real thing. So we've taught these children how to do that. The practice of putting people to sleep. Because once you get to the hoopla, you got to understand we're not in the same dynamics. So some people will like the hoop, and that's fine. It's part of the Black church. I don't think it should go anywhere. It's part of our heritage. But it should not be your everything. And so now when we get to that, we've taught our young men and our young women that it's about the hoop. It's not about the substance. So now we've heard you sing. We've heard you do all these vocal acrobats and all this. Oh, we heard you do all of that. But what did you say before? What's my takeaway from your message? That he died? Everybody's going to be preaching he died Sunday. We know this. But are you taking something away from that? How is God protecting you? And trust me, I work with 5-year-olds. They are very capable of explaining themselves if you teach them. So that's not an excuse. I work with 5-year-olds. They're very intelligent. So one of them, I'm thinking in my mind right now, you give him something, he's going to run away with it. He's just that intelligent. Why not teach them the substance of the words, the things that you can hold on to? Which brings me to my point. And this is going to ruffle the feathers of some of you. I'm not a fan of youth preachers like that. I'm not. I'm dang near 50. There is absolutely nothing a 5 or 15-year-old can teach me because they haven't experienced what I've experienced. The Bible is applicable, which means there should be some things up in the Bible that you can teach me that I can apply to my life. But you haven't lived anything at 5 years old. You haven't lived anything at 15 years old to teach me. So how can what you say to me can sustain me when I'm going through some adult shift? So why would a 15-year-old teach me something? You don't deal with temptations at 5. You don't deal with temptations at 8 years old. So how can you tell me how to wrestle these sexual desires that I may want at 30? At 40, at 50, at 60, and 70 with Viagra. So how can you tell me at 5 years old how to deal with these situations because you don't know how to apply? You don't know what hermeneutics, you don't know how to do it. Exegesis, you don't know what that means. You don't know what eisegesis means. You don't know what none of this stuff means. You can't break down the historical element. You can't break down the spiritual element. So what are you teaching me at 5? At 5 years old? And what disservice are we doing to these young people to expect them to teach people that? We are dying as a body. I don't want candy bar. I want a steak. I want real meat. And I'm not into being entertained. I'm not into being entertained. I'm tired of entertainment. I don't want show. I want to be empowered, which is why adults who are intellectual, who are smart, who want the desire to knowledge, they are turned off by this stuff. Yes, we should bring our youth along. Yes, we should move and let them take the reins. Only when they are ready. When they are ready. And you teach them in the school. Let them practice preaching in front of their school, their classmates, like we had to do when I was in college. I can just get up and just give a dissertation about IT and networking and computers and viruses and cybersecurity. I couldn't do that when I just walked in my undergrad. I had to go through my undergrad. I had to go through my master's. Now I can give a whole speech about cybersecurity and the importance of it. We're going to touch on it a little bit today, the little 15 minutes that I'm going to have left. But what are we doing to our children? They haven't experienced anything to teach you anything tangible. Yes, we love God. But how do you love God, sir? Because there will be some people to say, if you love me, keep my commandments. And it begs the question, what commandments? Exactly. Why are you teaching? That's what I'm saying. Kudos to these people, these young men who have the desire to preach. If that's your desire, I don't know you. But if that's your desire, then kudos. But the older, the elders, the 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, we need to make sure that these people are ready. To not just prop them up in the pulpit because they sound good or because they look the part or because they could demand the musicians to go to their key. That's not enough. Not when you got a whole generation. We lost a year. And a year for us is everything because there's a lot of information we didn't get a chance to digest in that year that we were down. We do not have time to sit here and babysit and wait for you to pull along and show us show and tell. I don't want that. We don't have time for that. We do not. Wait until they are ready, and they will be ready. If you teach them properly, they will be ready. But we don't need another generation of preachers that can entertain. We need a generation of preachers that know. If I was ever to preach, I would never hoop you. I would never hoop you. What you see right now is your teaching. This is what you would get. The doors of the church are open. After that's over. But that's me. I don't mind the hooping. But give me some substance before that. Give me something that I can take home and I can study and I can grow and I can be empowered so my knowledge can grow. Because I don't want a whole lot of weak fledgling capitulant people. I would want people that's going to grow to be stronger than me. Because if I'm in a legion of people and I'm the strongest one, if I'm taking out, everybody else falls. If I got people the same strength, if not stronger than me, and I built this army up where if I go down, this army's still going, that's what I would desire. I don't want them to be entertainers. I want them to be people who can empower, who can edify, who can grow. That's what I would desire. And I just feel like we do a disservice to our young people, teaching them that all preaching is hooping and wearing suits. Teaching and wearing suits and telling them keys win. That's theatrics. They can wear the suits, they look the part, they can do all of that. But at the end of the day, for most of these people, not most, but some of these preachers, under that suit is a wretch. Under that suit is a wreck. Under that suit is somebody that you would never want to look up to. But the suit covers it. It's like Superman. They put that suit on and now they look like Superman. Up until you see Superman get lit up and he's in Clark Kent. Clark Kent is not nobody likes Clark Kent. Nobody. Lois didn't like Clark Kent because he saw Superman. But a lot of these people under the suit ain't a Superman. It's a super wreck. It's nobody that you would want to look up to. So then these people are building up another super wrecks. And after you got a super wreck, you got a junkyard with just a whole lot of wreckage cars that is no good for nothing. No, build me a dealership where every car is built like a tank. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what we should desire. That's what we as members should demand. We should demand that from not just them, from the people who preach on every Sunday. We should demand. We don't want your theatrics. We know you can sing. We know you can do runs. We know you and the organist, y'all got a connection. Y'all can do runs. He'll follow you and y'all do all that. That's all good when it's time to get there. But before you get there, sir, ma'am, we need some substance. And I'm tired of Daniel in the Lion's Den. Switch it up. We tired. We know we're going to hear the Easter speeches and tomorrow, Sunday, the Easter messages. But bring some, I'm not speaking for me. I'm speaking for a lot of people who feel this way, the frustration. So before y'all go running y'all mouth, Derek said that. I never said that. I'm speaking from general standpoint. Y'all, because I know how messy some of y'all can be. That's all I want. So this is not me castigating the young man, both of them. But I do see this theme. When you see these young preachers preaching this, the first thing they want to do is hoop. I want you to close before I move on. Think about the last time you heard a preacher come in and preach and his message wasn't full of cliches and debatable theology. Debatable theology. See, I'm witty. I can admit that. I can come up with some stuff that'll blow your mind. But is it biblical? Is it biblical? Because we teach them that too. These one-liner things, and your setup is setup for your comeback and all this stuff. You pass out. What scripture is that from, sir? Huh? Huh? Y'all tell me, am I right or wrong? Do you hear what I'm saying at least? Do you hear? I'm not against young men. I would never follow them. I'm just not. Don't insult my intelligence. I don't want to learn. There's nothing you can teach me. It's some things that I go through on a daily basis that I don't think you ready for. Because more you it's just in the Bible, the elders were older. They were most knowledgeable. There's very few young elders. They were knowledgeable. People looked at them. They had some dignity. They had the respect of the people in the community. So people came to them and they guided them along this new thing that they weren't used to. Imagine a 50-year-old person calling a 17-year-old person elder. Yeah, that's a little bit too much for me. A little bit too much for me. So I hope you guys can understand that. Now give me 10 minutes. We almost done. I'm gonna move fast. I just wanted to say that. And I don't like going on these rants. I really don't. But I just see this thing happen. And it's like, have you ever felt like you was in this room just screaming and nobody heard you? You ever felt like that? Like you feel like you on this island, like I'm seeing stuff that nobody else is seeing? You ever felt like that? Like, dude, you don't see this? And everybody else like, oh, and you like, you don't see this happening? You don't see it? That's what sometimes I feel like. I feel like I see things that people just either they don't want to see, they refuse to see, or they just can't see. And I think that that's sad. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, I shared this video.
I tell my husband all the time that if a man approaches me while I'm out by myself and asks me for my phone number, I'm going to give him my phone number. And I'm going to give him my phone number not because I want him, but because I want to make it back home to my husband and my children safely. Some men cannot take rejection.
That was one person's viewpoint.
For safety reasons, I will give a man my number. If he asks for my number and I feel a little threatened, he looks a little scary, I'll give him my number, like no problem. But I remember this time I was out in New York and I gave a guy my number. He's like, oh, are you on your lunch break? And I'm like, yeah, my lunch break. He was like, oh, let me get your number. And I was like, okay, here's my number. And then I was like, okay, I got to go back to work. My break's over. Mind you, I don't even have a job. But anyways, I'm like, bye, I have to go back to work. As we're like partying and walking, he calls me and he's like, oh, I was just making sure the number was real. And mind you, he's like a few feet away from me. Imagine if he called and it was a fake number. He's running up on me. Like, who knows? Who knows what he would have done? So I gave him the real number and then I walk and I mind my business. And as soon as I get away from this man, I block him. Because we will never see each other again. I'll make sure of it. New York is a big city. We will never cross paths again. So to me, honestly, it's not a big deal to like give your number out. Just block them when they call, guys. Just block them. Then after that, pray and hope you never cross paths again.
And that's the thing. So first things first, let me say from somebody who has the experience as a cybersecurity expert, I have a master's that kind of makes me an expert, right? Giving your number out to some random man just because you think you might not make it home that's the worst thing that you can do. Especially if you thinking that a man that's that crazy, because you just never know if he's that crazy. And you never know, okay, if he's crazy, how do you know he won't trace that phone number? Because you give him a number and then you block him. So a man that's crazy and mentally unstable finds out that you gave him a phone number, but you blocked him. That same man, if he's mentally unstable, is going to find a way to get to you. Why? Because a lot of you are connecting your social media to your phones. Your social media is connected to your phones. Unfortunately, it is. Hold on, something's happening to my. So social media is connected to your phones. Your address, your workplace, a lot of your workplace, you use the same phone number. So if that man wants to find you, he will. And you say and pray that he doesn't find you. Where was your prayer before you believe that God will protect you if you said, I'm not interested? I don't agree with this at all. And for the lady that said, I told my husband, now, man, she said she told her husband. She didn't say my husband agreed. She didn't say my husband, we talked about it. She said, I told my husband, which tells me a lot about that. I need to do it one more time. Come on, come here, come here, come here, come here. That right there for me is a red flag because you said you told your husband, not that y'all agreed. Because as the man of the house, I would have told you no. God has, if God has brought us together and we took vows together, then we must trust. Where's our faith in God? See, this is what I'll be talking about with a lot of y'all. Y'all say, I put my faith in God. But when it's really time to trust him, you don't. Because if you really believe God's got your back, he's not going to let somebody go at you simply because you told them no. What? What time I show over? I don't know when I'm done here. I don't know. But yeah, I got sidetracked. So you just don't know the mindset of some people. Now, I actually said that yes, there are a lot of men that don't like rejection. None of us like rejection. Let me be honest with you. None of us like rejection. But there's a small fraction of men that even when you say no, they take it up another realm. Those people, just like anything else, there are mentally unstable men, there are mentally unstable women. What I was seeing in the comment section of these videos was a lot of women going at men saying, yeah, men this and men that, men this. Last I checked, no man I know does this. It's not statistically accurate. Most men, think about it, ladies. How many men in the last year have approached you in one way or another, DM or in person? Now, how many of those men actually were rude to you when you said no politely? And out of those men, how many of them really ran up on you violently? I would wager that it's not that many, that if any. That was my point. Statistically, it doesn't happen. Yes, it happens, and it's very, very, very unfortunate. It is not, and yeah, it happens to women a lot. You want to know why it happens to women? One of the reasons why it happens because men are the ones that do the approaching. If I was to have 100 men in a building and say, how many of you ever approached a woman? Almost all of them would say they did. Almost 100%. Definitely almost 100%. I would be 97% of them would say. If I was to line up 100 women and say, how many of you actually put yourself out there with a man? It wouldn't be 100. I would wager 25 maybe percent. 25% out of all women. If I was to take a sample size of 100 women, 25% of them would say they approached men. That's it. And you got 97%, 25%. So of course the number is going to be more. So of course the number's going to be more. So for you to say men are this way, we the ones that always approach, because a lot of you flirt. And the thing about flirting is you can flirt with somebody, and if they take the, then you be like, all right. But if they don't, ain't no sweat off your neck because you ain't really put yourself out there. But if you really put yourself out there like that, how many of you think these, from what I see, a lot of them could not take rejection very well either. They'd be mad. They'd be calling you all sorts of names and everything else. This is the reality. That's all I was saying. But can men take rejection? We don't like it. We don't like it. We don't like it. But let's not act like it don't happen to men too, because I'm gonna get to that. But what brought this up to me was very unfortunate experience that happened with this.
For two suspects wanting for stabbing twin sisters inside a deli in Park Slope, one of them dying. 19-year-old Samia Spain was fatally stabbed in the neck and chest. Her sister survived after the attackers stabbed her in the arm. Eyewitnesses say the stabbing happened after the victim turned down one of the suspects' advances.
They're not sober. They get rejected and they just escalated tenfold. Like, we was all having a good night before this. We just had left and we went to the store to get food. We was all getting sandwiches or like beef patty just to eat. We're hungry. We want to go home, and this happens.
Yesterday, family and friends held a small vigil near the scene of that attack.
So, which brings me to this point, and I'm going to make a point on this because I'm trying to get done real quick. I saw the video and I was like, man, that's kind of crazy that you would say no to a man. And I've seen videos, many videos where a man was like, man, you pretty, whatever. And lady just like, no, I'm not interested. Dude's like, okay, well, you have a good day. Majority of the time, that's what happens. Majority of the time, we leave you alone. Now, the scallies and the thugs and the drunkards, yeah, they got something else on their mind. But most men, we will leave you alone. But when I started thinking, and in no way am I victim blaming, but this situation is what I want to talk about real quick. What happened was this.
Here we go. No, you're not attacking me, nigga. Fuck that. Who's the guy? I'm too drunk for this shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm drunk, man. Oh, let's go. Let's go.
That's it, yeah.
So the news report said that all she did was tell him no. And it escalated into this. Do this look like just somebody saying no and it just escalated to something else? Or do you hear a whole lot of chitter chatter in the background with this dude who's shown himself to be off and you still arguing with him? No way is this victim blaming. But what I am saying, this whole thing could have been avoided. You said no, he came in the building, you leave. You had an option to leave, but you decided to stay and all y'all argued with this crazy dude. And that's what I'm thinking. It had nothing to do with you telling him no. I'm thinking this thing got egged on and it got to this point where it was a conflict and nobody de-escalated it and it turned to this. It had nothing to do with that turn down, which brings me to this point. I've seen firsthand how some of you turn these men down with your nose. I've seen it. And you're not thinking at the time when you're telling this man no in this manner that he could be crazy or deranged. Now, my point right now is to protect you, but you probably won't listen because I'm not saying what you like. But this is to protect you. If you want to say, I need to be able to turn this dude down and go home, that's fine. But the way you say things can trigger a person. You can attempt to say, I'm just not interested in a nice way. Be feminine with it. Don't be masculine and aggressive, but you can say it. Most men will leave you alone. They will. And my thing is this. One thing I did in my research is found out that majority of this stuff ain't happening in the library or some event or whatever. These are happening in bars and clubs and stuff where these people, crazy people like that, scallies and thugs, this is where they hang out at. So you're around these places and then you feel like you're going to be safe. You're never going to be safe in those places because these people don't know how to act. And I'm going to be honest with you. So a lot of these instances where this happened, when I did my research, one of them said she was coming from a club. The other place says she was coming from a bar. The other place says she was coming from a club. It's like you coming from these places where these people reside. If you know these people go to these places, then why are you there? Or change your area where you go to these places. Why you go to these places? I just don't understand. But even in that case, you go in these places, you dance with your butt cheeks all up in the air, then a man come dancing on you, and you say, get the off me and everything else. You didn't have to do that. You just leave. When I took my, why are you saying this, D? When I took my classes for my registered weapons, the one thing that they taught us, if at all possible, you leave the situation. You find a way out of the situation before you use that thing you got. You find a way to de-escalate the situation. And that is something that we have not been taught. We have not been taught that. So while you're saying no, are you saying, get the blank away from me? Or, you too ugly, you this. Now, have you insulted him, and a man that's mentally weak and maybe drunk out of his mind, he is going to want to get active. That is something that you need to know. Will it happen even if you nice? It may. But percentage-wise, it works in your favor. You will soon, and like a lot of y'all want to put it all on us, that's not fair, because I've never been that person. And a lot of men I hang around are not that person. We can deal with rejection. We don't like it, but last I checked, y'all don't like rejection either. Here we got this man trying to lead this woman. She holding the baby. He obviously doesn't want to have anything to do with her. And now you see he can't even leave because she gonna take this thing to the highest level. I've never seen this before. She refuses to let him leave. Now, this is somebody can't take rejection, holding the baby on this truck just like this. You can't make this up. Why is not pulling up all the good comments? You see that? You see that? So nobody likes rejection. I've been watching this show. It's very interesting to see it. It's very interesting to see it for a host of reasons. Because then you, even in the comment section, reading the comments, when it's the man come out and the ladies pop the balloons, they have no problem saying what's wrong with him. He ugly, he too short, he look at him, he a bum or whatever. But when men reject, it's always something pushback. Now, this ain't a bad pushback, but you're gonna see what I'm talking about.
I mean, you said you're a doctor, right?
That's correct.
Okay. I mean, I don't even know what to ask you because you don't like me. I'm too young.
It's not.
I mean, if you change your mind, I'm open to it though.
Why would you be open to it?
Because you're handsome for one.
So you only like
And-
me because I'm beautiful.
Just like I'm beautiful.
Yeah, but that's not why I would only like you.
So why would you like me? Because you didn't answer that.
Because you can bring something and add something to my life. But because you're a liability, you can't add anything to my life.
Straight volley.
You're a liability to everything in my
So
life.
what can I not add to your life? What is that?
You can't teach me anything.
God.
You can't help me with my finances in any way. You can't add any intellectual anything into my life. And it's not because you're not capable. It's just because you're not there yet.
Young.
You're not there yet.
Right.
And if you're not already on that path,
I'm already on it. That's the problem. You don't know enough about me.
you're absolutely right. I don't know
So
enough
you're
about
messing
you.
up.
You said you have Airbnb
Good
properties.
luck with the other girls back there. You're messing up. Oh, next. Oh.
And
Hold
I can
on,
tell
hold
that
on.
you're triggered.
I gotta do some house cleaning real quick. Let me scroll up. I'm scrolling. I'm trying to see. Hey, yo. Hey, who, you know what? I'm gonna deal with this after the show. I'm gonna deal with that after the show. Because one thing that's not gonna happen, I'm gonna continue my show. I'll deal with that afterwards. Well, anyway.
That's okay.
I'm not treating sweetheart. You are very handsome.
We can work through this together.
You
Please
said I
put your
can't
hands
bring
down.
you anything. So it's like
Right.
there's no need to talk.
You
I
can't
just
bring
said
anything right
good luck
now.
with the other girls.
Okay, and this is why your immaturity will prevent you from being with a real man.
No.
Now you see the pushback. You see, he kindly rejected her, and she still was going. This proves my point. Nobody likes rejection. Nobody. And there are some women, just like there are men, who will take it to the next level. He will take it to the next level. These people will take it to the next level. I've seen women, there are stories, and I got into a debate with somebody on my page. He kept posting pictures or videos or whatever. But here's the thing that you don't think about. Men have to approach women. But if you was to do a consensus of the men who've been attacked or been beaten or killed based off of not wanting to marry somebody or not wanting to be with them. See, that's the rejection that gets that craziness from the other individuals. What's up, Alvin? That's the thing that get the craziness from the other individuals. When you say, I don't want to marry you, and they spent time with you, that's rejection. Regardless of how you write it, or whatever, you can say he wrong. Okay, won't argue, but it's still rejection. And how do you deal with it? There are stories about women killing men because he wouldn't marry her. There's stories of women killing men because he left her for another girl. There are stories, we can go all day. That's a form of rejection. So you talking about rejection from a man not wanting to just approach you in the street. Imagine being killed by somebody who you know. There's still rejection. People handle rejection differently. So this is what I propose to my sisters and the ladies. If you are approached by a man, number one, first of all, avoid going places where they congregate. Why are you going places that significantly increase your exposure to the wrong elements of people? If I know the scallies and the thugs and the hood bandits hang at Roscoe's Bar and Grill, why the Falcon would I go to Roscoe's Bar and Grill? Why would you go there? See, that makes no sense to me. Go to somewhere maybe a little bit upscale, or go somewhere where you know that kind of foolishness is not allowed. But most of the stuff happened in the clubs. You did miss it. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you. But that's where it happens. So avoid that. A lot of this stuff happens at gas stations and these convenience stores. If you listen, if at all, some of you got men that you don't listen to, and that's unfortunate. But don't go to those gas stations. Where I live, they don't be congregating out here. They don't. Go to a better place to get your gas, and don't wait until your E is like this and you know you about to run out of gas. Now you got to go to Pookie's gas station where they going to be congregating. Fill up your tank and be responsible with your gas tank. So when you need to fill up, you don't go to where they congregate. You avoid those types of experiences. Now, you could be walking up the street, but some of y'all be walking up the street in the Strip in Miami. What you think gonna happen down there? Does this say you can't go to the Strip in Miami? No, but you got to be careful. You know you're going to be approached down there because people in the Strip, Miami, on certain days, especially Fridays and Saturdays, they thinking every chick they approach, they going to be clapping. Roscoe probably got good wings. You know what? You ain't lying there. You ain't lying. They probably got the best wings in town. So you don't do that. And here's the third. When you are approached, just be gentle. The Bible speaks about being soft-spoken, especially when times like this. You could be soft-spoken and be like, no. And if you married, most of them, yeah, you get some idiots be like, well, what they got to do with me? But you be like, no, I'm married, you know, I'm happily married, you know. Just keep moving. Which brings me to my last point. A lot of you ladies need to register yourself, and you know what I mean. Take some classes in self-defense. Take some classes, get you some protection on you. I don't even say the ones that, you know, that the peace be still one, but get you some protection. There's other ways you can protect yourself. But you walking up here with no protection at all, that doesn't help you either. But some of you don't need it anyway because your attitude and you ain't too right. So you be pulling that thing out on everybody. But for those of us who are mature adults, go to class, protect yourself. Take some self-defense courses. That way, when they do approach you and they are aggro, you have a better chance to protect yourself. Yes. And brings me to another point. Some instances, especially when you go into Roscoe's Bar and Grill, you don't go alone. And that's to say you should at least have at least one male friend with you. That's just my belief. Girls' night out, if you want to really be safe, you don't have those because they gonna see that as weakness. They gonna see you pack y'all and none of y'all can do nothing with them. So have a male friend to go with you or something like that where you know they have access to you. And if you need them, they can show up on your behalf. Hopefully that person is your husband, but maybe not. I'm just trying to help you because people think that I'm just here to bash on women. No, I'm not. I love you, but I'm not with the foolish arguments either. Don't give your number to these people. If they are crazy, they're going to find you. The lady said it's a chance they won't. No, this is 2024. I can find any last one of you if I wanted to. Trust me, I could. I have the training to do so. But it ain't that hard to do, though. I got more extensive ways, but you could just pay a couple of dollars and I can find out everything I want on you. Don't give your number to these people. Don't give your numbers because you say you want to come home to your family. Giving your number to these people, you have opened up a whole nother Pandora's box because now they know where you live. And in some of these apps, they know your next of kin, they know your cousins, they know your brothers. They can cause you a whole lot of trouble. Do not give them your phone number. Don't give them any information. Just tell them no. And I'm willing to listen. The chances you will get into a car accident is higher than them doing something to you. Yes, I read the papers. And yes, I see the stories. But it's not to the point where you need to be overly protective of a dude trying to shoot a shot at you. And you should take it and say, man, I know I look good. Somebody shooting their shot at me. You can at least say that. I want to help you. I don't want to see any of you in the papers being approached by some scallywag and you tell them no and he decide to play Children of the Corn with you. I don't want that. I don't want that for any of you. I really don't. So I hope you guys understand that. I hope you enjoyed the show. I had fun doing this one, but that just aggravated me to see that lady saying that. And I don't like the fact that everybody want to jump on men. I mean, good Lord. Do y'all know majority of men want to see you happy? Majority of men want to see you get what you want because we want what we want. Most men don't hate you, especially black men. We don't. Ooh, I'm not going to go there. Yeah, I am. I'm going to leave with this. I saw this video, this lady talking about black women and saying how you're not loved unless you wear a weave and all this other stuff. Let me say to my sisters before I leave, that is not true. Black men, especially me, I love your natural. A lot of you are so beautiful and you feel so bad about yourself that you feel like you need to cover what we find beauty. You feel like you need to cover with somebody else's idea of what beauty is for you. We love you the way you are, the way God made you. Most of us don't care about your hair. Our hair is naturally curly. My hair is curly. So far be it for me to want some Rapunzel looking straight hair. No, we want your hair. As long as most of us say, especially my friends that are all professionals, as long as it's maintained and washed and clean, we okay with it. We like it. If your hair is short, rock it. If your hair is longer and you just wear it natural, whatever. If you want to press it, fine. But you ain't gotta go have this long, come on, man, blue, orange, and all that stuff. We don't need that. We don't need all the crazy stuff that y'all sometimes do. Yes, makeup, you want to look good. I get it. But don't overdo it. Let your natural beauty shine because you have it. Don't be ashamed of that. If you see some improvements that you need to make on you or your physique, then you do that because God didn't make you that way. God did not make you that way. God didn't make you for you to look and appear and show yourself to the public to be anything different than what he designed. You see what I'm saying? All this fat plastic surgery and skin grafting and bleaching skin. No, we don't need that. Trust me, that's a lie. You are in your most desirable state in your natural body. If anything all of us can work on is our body getting more better in shape. If anything you can work on is that. But your face and everything else, look, y'all not ugly. Rock those lips. Because while you trying to do all of that, they doing everything they can to make their lips fatter. They doing everything they can to make their booties and everything because they fear that. You have a lot of the sisters you shape like that naturally. You don't need all that extra stuff. You don't need all of that. Carry yourself in a way that your ancestors in the 60s, if you go look at the sisters from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, you will see style, you will see class, you will see sophistication. And we didn't really have much in those days, but those women carried it like they did. They carried it like it was everything. And they had their heads up. And they had, they pressed their hair, but they wasn't doing all this crazy stuff that they doing now. And they still had natural beauty. Yes, they wore a little makeup, but they didn't just cake it on like you got to put it on with a shovel and then chisel it off to look like something. No. Be proud of the way God made you. And we will love you. We will respect you. The men that count, you listen to these scallies, they want y'all to do all that other stuff, then yeah, good luck with that. But the men that count, the men that you kind of really would want, that's what they desire. That's what they desire. So hopefully that helps you. But I love you. I'm about to jump off of here. Next week we have more fun because it's yeah. I got something for you next week. I don't want to dip into it, but because I don't want to scare you. But tune in next week. Preachers Going Wild. Love you. Take care.